My name is Dando. I'm an assistant professor at Cornell University in the food science department. When we eat something, we get inputs from all of our senses, so not just from taste, but from olfaction. When we eat something, we are actually smelling it through the back of our nose. We call this retronasal. And also through vision and the sound of the food as we eat it, and our touch receptors. When we consume something, we have receptors inside of our mouths, on our tongues, even around our teeth that say how crispy, how crunchy, how pleasing this texture is. These signals are all put together inside of the brain, and there we make a decision about if we find it pleasant or not. Each of us have a different set of machinery for how we appreciate foods. So we have different sensitivity to taste and to smells, and then also we're brought up differently around different things. So this means that we have different experiences when we consume foods. Say, for instance, an obvious one would be spicy foods. If you're brought up enjoying spicy foods and your parents consumed it, you consumed it as a child, you would probably enjoy spicy foods much more than someone that was brought up differently. As a child, you're very sensitive to bitter taste, for instance, which is one of the reasons why children don't like vegetables as much as we do. And then you're also it seems like children enjoy very, very intense levels of sweet and sourness and saltiness that perhaps adults wouldn't. This kind of matures as you get older. You get appreciation for more complex tastes as opposed to something that's just intensely sweet. And then as we get older, our taste and smell start to decline, and it means that we can end up not really being very sensitive to things as older people. Things can actually taste different to us if it's presented on a different dish or with a food dye that doesn't taste of anything in particular. Within our own bodies, we have a number of circulating hormones that have receptors inside of the taste buds. So this means that when this particular hormone is high or low, it can influence how we taste things. There is some evidence that our emotions can influence how we taste things. So, for instance, serotonin, which is linked with mood and happiness. A few years ago, we found receptors for serotonin inside of the taste buds. And some researchers have done work giving antidepressants to patients and taste testing them before and after. And what they found was that people were actually able to be more sensitive to sweet taste, for instance, after they had an elevated level of serotonin within their bloodstream. The basic physiology of our taste buds is pretty much, it's pretty similar to many different animals. So this is why people use things like mice and rats in taste studies as well as they use humans. The principal thing that people remember about taste from their high school and sometimes even their medical school training is that the taste buds are laid out in this taste map. This was actually a mistranslation from a German textbook from more than 100 years ago that seems to have just carried on and been taught and kind of proliferated this myth for over 100 years now. So this isn't true, and in fact inside of pretty much each taste bud are receptors for each of the basic tastes.